Hello, and welcome back for more Tsushima! Alright, Norio, sorry for keeping you waiting all this time, and good lord, you bunch of sad sacks, suck it up, will ya? God.
We can't let them harm the monks.
The Mongols will keep them alive for their medical skills.
I'm sure of nothing when it comes to the invaders.
Oh, I hope nothing bad happens to Norio. He's basically our replacement for Ryuzo.
They came this way, past the tea fields.
Look for tracks.
Okay, so at this point, for whatever reason,
They went toward the swamp. Come.
my recording
Sounds like you and
software
Hochi have a
stopped
history.
recording my
Hochi always
audio
complained my brother
commentary,
was too eager to
so I'm having to resort to post-commentary instead.
Was your brother violent?
No, but he was always fearless. When I was a child, the older boys in my village bullied me.
That must have been a long time ago.
Many meals ago. One time, the boys stuffed me in a millet sack and tried to hang me from a tree. Enjo pretended to be a demon lurking in the branches. They never bothered me again.
Bravery takes many forms.
Hochi thinks warrior monks are driven by anger and hate. But when I swing my naginata, I sacrifice the few to save the many. And I do it without hatred.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the hell went wrong, but I had contemplated not bothering with any audio commentary, but
I don't want the monks to get caught in the middle.
I'm lazy, but I'm not that lazy. Still want to make a video that at least has some effort into it. Clearly missed that archer was on the upper left. One thing that Act 2 does pretty well is introducing enemies that can actually dodge your attacks. Whereas up until this point, you could just mash triangle until you break their guard, and then mash square until they're dead. One good thing about post-commentary is that I can criticize this game without being blinded by the veneer of the new.
Are you the samurai who rose from the dead?
Is Hochi with you?
Hochi? No, but one of us broke loose. The invaders chased after him. They'll be back any moment.
Road Sakai! Mongols up the road!
Norio? You're alive!
Stay back, all of you.
The one problem that this game has is the fact that it has so many different functions assigned to R2. You pick up items, you open doors, you talk to characters, and you switch stances, which can be a bit problematic when you're fighting large groups of enemies. They're all laying dead at your feet, having dropped items around, and you're trying to switch stances, and instead of actually doing what you want, you wind up doing other shit because the R2 button is too busy picking up items that are strewn about all over the place, rather than actually opening the menu for you to switch stances. And I think this is where I figure out how good the moon stance is at actually interrupting these big guys' attacks, because that's the... Ooh, shit. Little too overzealous about the triple spin attack there.
Is anyone hurt?
We're all right, my lord.
Where is Hochi?
A different group
But
took
that's
him.
the...
Norio. They knew Hochi's name. And they mentioned Cedar Temple.
It's a great thing about those moon stance
Lord Sakai.
heavy attacks is that they can interrupt them, which is crucial considering how much they love swinging those axes
Skilled
around.
healer. They might have plans for him.
He also likes to argue.
You think he angered them?
Knowing Hochi? Yes.
Don't jump to conclusions. First, we need to track him down.
Give me time to figure out where the Mongols took him.
I'll meet you at Akashima village. We'll find him, Norio.
Even after playing through the entire game and New Game Plus, thanks to the DLC and all, that still remains my favorite hat. Reduces all damage by a moderate amount. And Magic Floating Cup disappears, and we're on to our next mission. Since he's right there, why the hell not?
The refugee camp. Sensei Ishikawa said he'd meet me here. He is not here. Maybe someone has seen him.
Destroy the Mongols, my lord.
Trade is difficult in these times, my lord. Your victories give us hope.
I'll do whatever I can to help you.
I owe my life to you, my lord. My lord.
My lord.
I hope you find that horrible Tomoe. She's evil, my lord.
I'm looking for a samurai, an archer.
The sensei headed toward the coast. He said you should catch up with him to join the hunt. And you'd know what that meant.
Dreams of conquest.
End this war, my lord.
One thing that I definitely should have done more often that I kept forgetting about was switching to Tadayori's armor every time I had one of these missions with Ishikawa, because they always involve archery, and Tadayori's armor really helps with that.
Sensei Ishikawa is in trouble.
That is a move that is just as problematic as the standoff is, because it requires a prompt to be activated, and if the prompt doesn't work for whatever reason, then you can't perform the move, which is a pain in the ass. That's the problem I had with this particular quest, is figuring out where the hell all these arrows are coming from so I can kill the archers.
Keep your head down.
But at least these quests give me an abundance of ammo.
You're wounded.
I'll survive.
You should have waited for me at the camp.
I had a lead on Tomoe. I couldn't risk losing her.
Were those her archers?
One of them shouted my name.
More on the way. Tend to the wound. I'll take them.
Yeah, and this right here demonstrates why I prefer video games with cartoony graphics rather than realistic ones. Because it's so fucking hard to see these guys when they're that far away. Wow, I can't believe that actually hit him. The blue ones are the worst because they can shoot 3 arrows one after another. I clearly can't tell exactly where he is, especially when he's standing behind that fucking tree. And then every time I try to take a shot at him, I gotta stop and block his arrows, which is just fucking annoying. And then I think they're all gone, and nope. That got fucking annoying. I do remember that.
Not bad, Sakai.
It'd be nice if that little chunk of dialogue changed depending on how much damage you did or didn't take.
They had you surrounded.
Tomoe taught them well.
That's not why they outmaneuvered you.
If you have an insight, share it.
You didn't notice them because you were too focused on finding Tomoe.
Even I make mistakes, Sakai.
No, you don't. Except with her.
We should get moving.
What do you know about the camp?
Archers, for the most part. Tomoe has been seen with them on raids all over Kashima.
She won their trust.
She's a useful tool to divide and conquer, for now.
Tomoe betrayed you before she sided with the Mongols. But you never told me exactly what happened.
She used my teaching to help a band of assassins. They paid well.
It still doesn't explain why she attacked you.
Sakai, how does a samurai deal with an assassin?
You retaliated and attacked her.
I dealt with Tomoe as I would any common murderer.
She was your student.
I don't make exceptions, Sakai.
First, Hironori Nagao. Now, Tomoe.
Don't be the next to disappoint me. What's that ahead?
They hunt people for sport.
Not sport. Practice.
They're ruthless.
Indulging violence weakens the warrior. Like too much food or drink.
Good point.
You said Tomoe traveled to your dojo to study. What did she do before that?
Her mother belonged to a merchant family in Umugi. She never knew her father. Why do you ask?
Killing is not learned overnight, even for a prodigy with the bow.
She was born with a taste for bloodshed. More of Tomoe's work.
That's
Their
a
archers
lot of
hunt
blood
the
pooled
people
up
of
there.
Akashima like dogs.
Tomoe and her allies are too hungry for violence. A killer masters a weapon. A samurai masters himself.
You've devoted your life to mastering the bow.
To the bow, yes.
not to killing.
Now you're splitting hairs.
I've tied a wounded man to my horse with a bowstring. Used an arrowhead to cut meat when I had no knife.
You're saying a bow is more than a weapon.
And a samurai is more than a killer.
I like that.
If we can't win Tomoe back, we have no choice. We have to kill her.
I trained her. I share the blame for her actions. I will end this.
You only share the blame if you encouraged her thirst for violence.
I made her my student. I should have seen the darkness in her.
You didn't see it, and that scares you.
It bothers me. We're nearly there. We'll approach this like Fort Nakayama.
Observe the camp, look for weaknesses. Make a plan of attack.
That's right, Sakai. Look twice and shoot once. We will go on foot from here.
I would have liked it better if you could have done this surveying thing with like random enemy bases. Like find a place where you can observe everything and then have like special areas of the base pointed out to you.
Mongolian-style archery.
A hybrid. Tomoe is teaching them.
Training to fight samurai.
We will give them more to learn.
We take the camp, then find out where she is.
The moment you attack, my arrows will strike home.
I always like to take out the big guy first, but once you have the moon stance, that kind of becomes a moot point. Missed! Bitch! One thing I do like is that your parrying and perfect parries work no matter what stance you're in. And perfect parries do way more damage than pretty much anything else. Better to shoot them in the body when they're wearing helmets. That's another thing that I don't like about this game is how unreliable the damn lock-on is.
Was no fluke. You are improving. Tomoe is not here.
Let's make sure. Look around.
Because with Spider-Man, you never had problems being locked on to the enemy that you were pointing yourself in the direction of, unless they were a large crowd that was really packed in tight together. With this game, there's a lot of times where the auto lock-on doesn't seem to work as well as it should, or at least not as well as it did in Spider-Man. So many times in this game, I'll push the control stick in one direction and he'll go off and attack someone in the complete opposite direction. Which is particularly annoying when you have to switch stances for every different type of weapon that your enemies use. Switch to stone stance to attack the sword guy off to your left, and you wind up hitting the shield guy to your right instead.
Delivery locations all over Toyotama.
She's setting up more training camps.
One in Otsuna, another in Kushi, and more planned. A message in Japanese.
What does it say?
Great Khan, conqueror of Tsushima. Before the year is over, your archers will know all I do about killing samurai. And I will deliver the heads of Sensei Ishikawa and Jin Sakai.
Tomoe was here. I gave her everything. And she threw it away.
She's a threat. There is only one way this ends.
I know what must be done.
Knowing and doing are different.
You are questioning whether I am samurai? Tomoe was my greatest achievement. But if I must, I will destroy her to save this island. That is my duty.
The list we found. We will use it to track down the other camps.
And we will end Tomoe's treachery. Sakai! You are a fine warrior. You could become a great leader.
Mm-hmm.
But do not question my integrity again.
Dreams of conquest. So yeah, Ishikawa is a little too close to this, and it's affecting his judgment. Jin pushing him to be more ruthless, and butting heads. But as Jin goes through the story and becomes more and more ruthless towards the Mongols, Ishikawa's fears about teaching a third out-of-control student become more and more valid. Yeah, I got a big chunk of the map opened up and some new areas to explore and loads of different missions to do here in Act 2. Good God. It may be a smaller area than Act 1, but it's tightly packed. Or densely packed.
Faster, Nobu!
I will say having grass that's too thick to walk through is a lot more interesting than just having rock walls everywhere you're not supposed to go.
Fine peace.
His poor bastard, who obviously died fighting. The Mongols have surrounded the watchtower. I won't last here much longer. Whoever finds my body, I've seen the Mongols hiding something under the green trees surrounded by a bunch of yellow elms. Take it from them and use it well. I like little diversionary stuff that they sprinkle in like this. It's not a mission, it's not even a little side quest, it's just some incidental little thing that you can find and be rewarded for. Like when I met those two girls on that pass on the hill, and then one of them turned out to be like a fucking scam artist lying about having a way off the island. Or that monk by the watchtower who found out about the poison well. Interesting little things like that that aren't full-blown quests. They're just little incidences that help flesh out the world and make it feel more lived in. And then you get this, which... yeah, it isn't much, but it's a nice little reward for actually exploring the map. And I definitely appreciate games that reward exploration, especially as someone who likes to platinum the games he plays. As long as they aren't games geared towards speed running.
Quickly, Nobu.
I mean, I like Katana Zero, but I'm not gonna play through that whole game and do everything. Oh boy, there's a lot of shit to do. And bonus, kill an enemy during a standoff. Easy enough. As long as it isn't some dickhead with a spear.
Come here and fight!
And there you go. Well, another problem this game has with the standoffs isn't just like the prompt not working when you're not always working when you're approaching a random group of Mongols, especially on steep inclines, but also the positioning of the camera can fuck you over. Like, there have been times where the camera winds up behind a tree branch or a bush, or even another Mongol standing right in front of the fucking camera, obscuring my view. And even though they've known how to do this since the days of Mario Sunshine, they don't make the damn textures transparent so the camera can see through them. And then you have no idea when you're actually supposed to press the button for the damn standoff, and you just get screwed over. One thing I definitely missed getting this far into the game is being able to observe Mongol leaders. I mean, you don't need the points for unlocking stances anymore, but it would have been nice if they had kept that around for like an added bonus to your legend. That was a little close. I definitely love the auto parry function of the wind stance, because it can be so hard to read those damn spear guys, and Jesus Christ, I really got myself in the shit here. That's about the easiest way in the world to take out the spearmen, is to use that charged heavy attack to kick them and knock them off their ass, and then I actually managed to hit that dinky little shield of his. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, you kick them, knock them on their ass, and then you just run in for the assassination, and then they're dead. No having to wear down their guard or any of that other crap. Just kick, dead. I really wish that move where he, like, knocks people's feet out from under them could be like a move that you could use regularly. This situation would have been a lot less problematic for me if I had just remembered my quick-fire items like sticky bombs and kunai, because when you get overwhelmed in a situation like that, those things can save your ass so easily. I especially love the sticky bombs, my god. They are my absolute favorite. Also, the fireworks and black powder combo is a good way to take out large groups. Yeah, unfortunately, because that's a moon stance attack, it tends to be less effective against anyone who isn't a brute. I still haven't killed the general, apparently. It was just a random Mongol leader. But not the general. Yeah, you definitely get way too dependent on this, you know, see enemies through walls vision thing. I think it would have been better balanced if you didn't have the ability to, like, walk fast while doing it, because once you unlock that, there's no reason not to use it all the time. I think something like that would be more balanced if it became less effective the more you moved. It's like if you're walking around, moving around, whatever, you start to hear less of who's around you, but when you're standing actually still, it gets gets wider and wider. Conversations with the Khan 6. Khoten appears to have put the events of Castle Kaneda and the liberation of Lord Shimura behind him, partly because he holds Castle Shimura, which is strategically more important to maintain control of the island. It also shields his forces in the north, who carry out orders so secret that I have not been able to discover what they might be, and I think it gives Khoten pleasure to defile the seat of the Shimura clan's power. In any event, Khoten seems confident that his enemies will exhaust themselves fighting amongst each other and the Mongols. All he need do is stock up on food, supplies, and munitions and depart for the mainland when the time is right. Man's got a plan. But the guy writing these is starting to get a little too comfortable around him. And I got a new saddle to go back for. Another problem with having like all these different functions assigned to the R2 button is the fact that this game doesn't avoid putting items right next to like doors and hatches and stuff. It would be much less of a problem if that wasn't the case, but when you're standing next to a door and there's an item you want to pick up, and there's a Mongol on the other side of that door you don't want to go through, and then you press R2, and instead of picking up the item, he goes through the fucking door, that's a pain in the ass. I mean, Bloodborne and Dark Souls had this thing where if context-sensitive objects were in close proximity to each other, you could press the Y button to switch between them. And they don't do that in this game, which makes it more of a pain in the ass, because this game also does something wrong that was never a problem in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but Sekiro had the problem, which was the prompt for any context-sensitive action has to be on screen in order to do it. So you have to point the camera at the thing you want to do in order to do it. So if you've got an item next to a door and you don't want to go through the door, you have to move the camera around to point at the item, but keep the door off screen in order to make the item prompt come up so you can pick up the item instead of going through the door, or vice versa. And if you're in the middle of a fight, well, and you're, like I said before, you're surrounded by corpses, pressing R2 is going to have you pick up the items, and you're not going to be able to switch stances because of it. And considering the fact that they have, like, every button on the D-pad specifically assigned to a single action, you'd think you could have assigned certain functions to up on the D-pad as well, instead of having that just be for standoffs, which requires a prompt anyway. And oh my god, this guy... Yeah, he's already dodging my shit. So it's like, you can't be full-on aggression the entire time because they start dodging you, which means you gotta cool off, wait your turn, and go on the defensive until you can get an opening. Which can be a little aggravating after going through an entire third of the game with just mashing buttons and aggressively forcing your way through every single encounter. I do like that stab move, though. That is a great way to finish enemies off. The Messenger Falcons. Pretty bird. Gotta say, I actually like the assassination animations better before you upgrade your Tonto, because they're slower and more brutal. Once your Tonto's fully upgraded, it's just poke dead. Do I even see that guy in the top left? I don't think so. It's always your first priority in any of these bases is picking off the damn guys in the watchtower. That and the fucking hawks. Oh. No, you should have aimed for the brazier. You could have rained down hellfire upon them. That's the problem with me, is I don't notice shit like that until after I've killed everyone. And then it's like, oh man, I could have taken advantage of that. God, I do love... When you get it right, the perfect parry looks fucking awesome, but when you fuck it up, it's just so goddamn annoying. They even give you a charm to make perfect parries easier, but I question how much of a difference it actually makes. Be interested to know the frame data on exactly how much of a window they actually give you for those. Yeah, it took me a while to figure it out, but basically if you just stand still and wait for the cricket to fly up near you, it basically acts as a sort of directional arrow. It doesn't just fly off towards the item, it sort of points you in the direction of the item until you get really close to it. So you're better off to just, like, stand still, wait for the firefly to stop at a specific location, and then walk in that direction, at least for a while, until you either find the item or stop and let him point you in the right direction again. Because when you walk off to go in whatever direction the firefly is pointing you in, the firefly can't keep up. And you need to give the firefly a chance to actually get into position to properly guide you. Also, having him constantly buzzing in your face when you're busy trying to do other shit gets rather annoying.
Hey!
I like that with these bases and the different groups of enemies spread so far apart, you can get multiple standoffs. Not just one right at the very beginning. It's always annoying when I put my sword away and then one of them isn't dead. It's like, I'm trying to look cool and you ruined it. Also, another annoying feature of the auto lock-on is not having Jin look in the wrong bloody direction when you're walking. You know the bitches in Hemwick have a much better arm than these guys, I'll tell you that. Can't stab you? Then I'll just parry you. Thankfully, the archers and, I don't know what you would call those guys who throw the grenades, you don't need to be in any particular stance to kill them because they don't have a guard for you to break. The thing about this particular base is that there's no wagon full of black powder for you to detonate to indicate that you're done with the base. Once you complete all the other objectives, it just ends, and any items you haven't picked up are just gone. Which I don't like, because I don't think that when you complete the base, you get a chance to pick up any items you missed. I think a lot of them, especially the ones that are intense, just disappear. Some of them, I've noticed sometimes after I complete a base that there'll be like stacks of boxes and stuff that have items and such all over it, but I'm not sure if you get that anyway, whether you've picked the base clean or not, or if that's how they sort of relocate the items you missed. I prefer to take my time and pick the place clean before we have the mission complete cutscene, and without the exploding wagon of black powder to initiate the ending cutscene. Having a base like this where it just ends once you've completed all the objectives can kind of screw you out of whatever items you missed. Like this treasure chest here. If I had picked up that banner first, which ended the thing, there's no way I'd get that chest afterwards. And I missed the leather that was behind me. Don't just stand there, people. Help them out. Get that wagon out of the damn river. I was right.
If I move quickly, with precision, kill 3 at once. Give me an edge.
Yep, all gone. It might not eliminate items that were in areas that didn't get burnt down, but pretty sure the stuff in the tents is long gone. Kerpoofy. Glitchy chunk of ground there. Makes me wonder what was there before the base transformed.
Do you need anything, my lord?
You're a good horse, Nobu. Let's go, Nobu. I'm right here.
And we got some yellow guys who can light their swords on fire. Basically just makes all their attacks unblockable. Not that that does any good in the standoff. It's also kind of annoying how the enemy that comes after you isn't the enemy that you want to go after. You have to dodge every one of their friggin' attacks, which sends you a bloody mile away from your actual target. Although I suppose if I had just parried him, that would have gotten him off my ass sooner. Yeah, I didn't even notice the hat at first. But then, thankfully, the bird led me back to it. Not that it's anything I'd actually want to wear. Ugh. Not only did you not finish it, you left it outside in the rain. And here we get a different kind of Shinto shrine that isn't on a mountain. The Kami of life and death, Izanami. Yeah, this one feels a bit more like a hedge maze than a mountain climb. And I'm pretty sure there was a bag of supplies there that I missed. Why didn't you pick up the flower? It was blatantly obvious. You sure made this a hell of a lot longer just by taking out one measly bridge. There we go. And now I have to do half the damn thing all over again. Pretty. Charm of the Kami of Life and Death, Izanami. Iron Will now revives you at 50% of your maximum health. Well, that'd be great if I had the ability or any intention of ever using it. Because normally if I get killed, I prefer to just give up and start over anyway.
Good noble.
Think I heard someone ringing a bell. Yeah, I generally tend to be more of a visual thinker, and for some reason the layout of this place is really hard for me to form a picture of in my head. Oh my god, that right there is exactly what I was fucking talking about.
You believe that old tale?
Of course. Why wouldn't I?
The bell was a gift from the monks of Mount Hiei, centuries before even Benkei himself.
I like my story better.
It's exactly what I was talking about. They put a goddamn item right next to a friggin' hatch, and then you wind up getting the wrong one. Such a fucking pain in the ass. All they'd have to do is just keep the items away from the doors and shit. I don't know if they intentionally choose what places the items are when they're designing the levels, or if they're just randomly generated by the game, but either way, they need to not fucking do that. Or give us the option to switch between the two.
You need more to make these improvements.
I'll see you again.
Bigger hat, but I prefer the second one.
Lord Sakai,
Norio,
we've all been worried about Hochi. They need a break.
such moments are rare these days.
I used to be like them.
I'm not the same man I was the night before Komoda.
How bad was it?
Komoda? Bad. We lost everyone. The beach was soaked with so much blood. It was like paste. Be grateful you didn't see it.
We rode south all day, into the night. A bad storm slowed us to a crawl. Stopped at a farm to sleep a few hours. I woke to screams. The main house on fire. Mongol raiders. They took us to Kaneda in chains. After that, I wish I had died fighting. I think I know where they took Hochi.
You want to go now?
Yes.
Three actions, three illusions. You know, when you get those up-close shots in the cutscenes, it almost looks like you could make that exact same hat out of
Mongol
duct tape.
ships stopped there for supplies and prisoners on the way north.
If they put him out to sea, we'll lose him.
Lord Sakai, when this is all over, what will you do?
I hope one day I can return home. Find a way to rebuild.
I wish I still felt that way about my temple. Most of my life, my course was clear. Follow the Eightfold Path. Raise a family. Serve Cedar Temple.
You can still do those things.
I joined the temple because of my brother. And I always imagined my children and Enjo's children growing up together. Our wives would be friends.
The Mongols haven't taken everything, Norio. One day they'll be gone. And you'll still have a life to lead.
But I don't feel it's mine alone. I have to live for Enjo and the other monks who died. Do you ever feel that way about the samurai of Komoda? Like you owe them a debt?
Sometimes. Like my life has to count for 100 samurai.
But that doesn't feel possible.
Maybe that's the point.
Life before the invasion feels like it happened to someone else. Or like childhood.
Maybe 20 years from now, you'll look back on this moment the same way.
Lord Sakai, I told you Hochi strongly opposes violence, right?
You said he disagreed with the warrior monks.
He hates all weapons, including yours and mine.
He can lecture me all he likes once he's safe in Akashima village.
We're getting close to the camp.
stand and fight me!
Mongol guard, run him down.
I wish this game had a sound test mode so you could listen to all the different gargling sound effects.
We have to find Hochi.
The Mongols are holding someone there.
Hochi. Has to be.
If I go alone, I can reach him without the Mongols knowing. A Mongol signal cannon.
I could set it off. Draw their attention.
While I get Hochi out. After I find Hochi, we'll meet there.
Don't wait for me if I'm late. Get Hochi back to the village. I can handle myself. I'll meet you both back in Akashima village.
Set off the signal cannon. I'll get Hochi.
Take refuge in Amida Buddha, my lord.
You know, this game is the first time I actually heard Buddha's other name. I'm not sure if it's his personal name or his given name or his surname, because I think Japanese do their name's surname first and then their given name. I'm not sure. But yeah, I never heard Amida Buddha before. Handy how that little red wave lets you know that someone else is keeping an eye on them.
Look, my friend. I should send the Mongols running.
No, get the fuck out of my way. I need to save the hostage. How fucking far away are you? Where the fuck are you, asshole?
Please save me!
What's happening? Who are you?
A friend. We need to go.
I can't leave. The Mongols are returning me to see the temple. The people there need healers, badly.
There's no time for this.
I'm sorry, but I must remain here.
Jin! Hochi!
Norio? What are you doing here?
The alarm drew a raiding party nearby. They're almost on us.
Damn it. Stay back, Hochi. We won't let them near you. Norio, ready your blade.
receive a lesson in manners. The monk of Cedar Temple is your sensei.
Are the others with you, Norio?
I remember this second wave having a lot more soldiers to it than this. Fuck you and your goddamn flash bombs.
Are the others with you, Norio?
Everyone is gone. It's just me now.
I'm sorry. I wish we could end this bloodshed. The Mongols were searching for me. I gave myself up to save lives.
How did they know where to find you?
They knew I was an Akashima. And they wanted to return me to see the temple. They need a healer.
You willing to treat the enemy's wounded?
Mongol or Japanese, we all suffer.
Some deserve it.
But this means... has Cedar Temple fallen?
I don't know.
Norio, take Hochi back to the village before reinforcements arrive.
They will seek
You
revenge.
don't know it your first time playing through the game, but those details of that conversation are pretty important later on.
Send your best warrior.
Gets thrown off. Gets thrown away like a piece of garbage after the bear is dead.
It's wrong to answer violence with more violence, Norio.
It's right to prevent more suffering.
If you kill these raiders,
Yes,
others
this
will
is
retaliate.
one quest where my inability to memorize the layout of this place becomes rather problematic.
I think the Mongols are afraid of our hot springs, Lord Sakai. They avoid them.
Perhaps they don't like the smell of sulfur. Or they're afraid taking a bath will make them sick.
Let's hope they stay afraid, my lord. If any warrior is going to gain strength from Tsushima's hot springs, it should be you.
I can't argue with that.
Lord Sakai,
Pantomime arguing.
What's the problem?
Mongols are gathering nearby, preparing to strike.
We should evacuate to Castle Canada.
Evacuate and the Mongols will hunt you down. Not one of you will live to see Kanada's walls.
But we won't have blood on our hands.
Go tell the village your plan for them, Hochi. I'd like to see that.
Norio, I wish you cared about the Eightfold Path more than others' opinions. First, you follow Enjo around. Now, Lord Sakai. Do you ever think for yourself?
Wash my brother's name from your mouth.
Enough! Norio and I will do the fighting.
Everyone else can go hide.
I refuse to hide. I don't take lives. But I am not a coward.
I think we all know how this story is going to end for him. Ghosts in the fog.
I'll scout the village. See what defensive preparations we can make quickly. Gather everyone to you. Ready them to take shelter. One of these rooftops should work.
Everyone, we need you to gather here. Bring your families, quickly.
Here, perfect. No walls. Mongols can strike from any direction.
Make sure everyone is here. Family.
If we flee into the swamp, people will get lost, separated. Easy prey.
Gather round. Don't wander off.
A temple. People could hide there.
No need to panic. Just gather here. Is anyone missing?
Incense burners.
Put together.
Add black powder to the incense. Get the smoke nice and dense. Enough to use as cover. Norio and Hochi lead everyone to the temple. I'll deal with the Mongols here. They'll blame me, not the villagers.
My lord, we've gathered everyone.
Take them to the temple.
I won't let you fight alone.
If the Mongols go to the temple, who will protect these people?
I'll do as you ask.
Keep your naginata ready. I'll owe you a jar of sake for putting up with Hochi.
Everyone, Mongols are on the way. Follow me to the temple. The invaders will face the wrath of a samurai.
So, one thing I didn't notice about these incense burners until a later run was the fact that every single one of them has a brazier above it, which means you can trigger the smoke by shooting the brazier. So, I think what you're intended to do with this is wait for the Mongols to be standing around the incense burner, shoot the brazier, which not only sets off the smoke, but also lights the Mongols on fire, and that way you have cover to go in and, like, assassinate them all. So the incense basically works like a free smoke bomb. Or while they're staggering around in the smoke and on fire, you just pick them off with your arrows if you've got enough. But then you can also set them off by shooting a flaming arrow directly into the incense, or walking up to the incense and pressing R2. There's a lot of different ways you can use this, but the effect is basically the same as any smoke bomb.
I can hide in a granary.
Is that what that's called?
They're here. Now to light the incense burners. I hope the Mongols like smoke.
I think I handled that pretty well. Although I think what the strategy you're meant to use here is to get your ass back on the rooftops. So, okay, that was an item with no body, which suggests to me that one of the Mongols got scared off and ran. Yeah, that doesn't do any good when no one's in the smoke. Thank you, camera. So helpful when you're stuck in a goddamn bush. Sure would be handy if that statue turned transparent so I could see what was going on behind it, wouldn't it?
Better check on Norio and Hochi.
And just like that, we're done. heal first, then end their suffering. If it wasn't for the wind, I wouldn't have the slightest idea which way to go here.
Norio!
Lord Sakai!
Thank you for switching stances like I wanted to. Ooh, nice perfect dodge there. Honestly, I think perfect dodging is harder to pull off than perfect parrying.
What happened, Norio?
I was fighting. A Mongol snuck up behind me. Hochi threw himself at a blow meant for me.
You're both braver than many samurai I've known.
I didn't know he was behind me until I heard him cry out. By the time I turned around, he was dead.
It's not your fault. Norio?
Every time they lifted the cover on the pit, the daylight would blind us. This time, one of them stank like sake. I felt their hands pull me up, but my brother threw himself at them. He was starving, wounded, but he fought them. He fought them so hard.
Norio, you don't have to...
Yes, I do. They gave up on me and took Enjo. They took my brother. Everyone who rode south from Cedar Temple. All gone. Except me. They deserve to live. I'm the one who should be dead.
I thought the same thing after Komoda. Many times. I don't know why we survived, Norio. But we did. And these people are counting on us. We're all they have. The people of Akashima are alive because of you. Don't forget that. Because they won't.
Survivor guilt. Yeah, I don't like any of these headbands with the metal plates on the front. They're too plain. Plus, I like the look of wearing a hat that's as wide as my shoulders.
Norio said a temple in Kushi still needs our support.
send your best warrior.
I do like that they make the grass look a lot more realistic than they have in older games, because normally when you see stuff like that from directly above, you can tell that it's just like completely fake 2D grass. It's like looking at a Lego tree almost. But here, even when you're looking straight down at it, it still looks like grass. Good lord, all these moving objects and such a wide open area, it makes you wonder how the hell any computer can run with all this shit going on at once.
My lord! It's still out there! He came at night. Did you see it?
Calm down. What's your name?
Shino, my lord.
Shino. Tell me what you saw.
A river child. Kappa.
A demon? You sure?
It's just like the stories my father told me. A monster in the river. Claw marks in the soil.
You're lucky to be alive.
I hid. While my father went to go scare the kappa away. Then I heard splashing and screaming.
I will check on him, Shino. Stay here, away from the water.
The river children.
Be careful,
Okay,
my lord.
why did that pop
The
up
kappa
twice?
is hungry.
This talk of demons kind of makes me think about the DLC, the online co-op. I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I haven't done the co-op, but I did do the little... They have a little practice session that you can do without going online, and wasn't really a big fan. They basically take...
Something was in a hurry.
They basically take Jin's full moveset and kind of divvy up certain skills among 4 different characters.
Ravenous. Tracks. Could be human or animal. They lead into the river.
So no matter what character you're playing as, your moveset is severely reduced from what you're used to being able to do with Jin.
The tracks continue.
God, these footprints are like barely visible a lot of the time.
Must be Shino's father. The cuts are savage but clean. Possibly from a blade. His killer may have left a trail. More tracks. They went this way.
Someone needs to cut their toenails.
smell. Cooking fish.
You know, I actually have a friend who looks like a Kappa. Well, the cartoony pictures that I see about them.
Just thieves, murderers, monsters just the same.
Definitely shouldn't have automatically hit that standoff button so I could listen in on their conversation. But basically, yeah, just a bunch of dickhead bandits.
They likely stole from Shino's father. A few rocks. Dried eel.
Why would anyone have rocks in their pockets?
A flute. Must have belonged to Shino's father. I will return it to her.
I also wish the quest system in this game wasn't so rigid about making you complete a quest from start to finish without being able to leave. Like, sometimes you'll be doing one of these and it'll say you return to the tail area and then it gives you a friggin' time limit. Like, with the larger quests where you're doing a lot of wandering around, you can kind of just, like, stop tracking your mission and go do something else. That's fine, but I wish, like, all the quests were like that. In between the little sections where you're traveling around, you know, let me go off and do my own thing if I want to.
My father.
I'm sorry, Shino.
The Kappa killed him.
Not Kappa. Thieves.
No. Only a demon could do such a thing.
Desperation can bring out the demon in the best of men. Is there somewhere you can go?
Akashima. My aunt is from there.
Did this belong to your father?
Yes. He'll travel to Akashima with me. Thank you. I'll head for town soon.
And you can actually go to Akashima and meet her there, just like the guy with the baby at the Golden Temple. I definitely like that aspect. It makes them seem more like real people and not just characters that vanish once their quest is over. I kind of wish they'd done that with the girl who wanted to train the farmers. Go on a couple more side quests with her, teaching other farmers in different areas to defend themselves.
Come here and fight!
Would have been nice to have gotten the bonus objectives before I did this. But being outside the base, the standoff kind of pulls the enemies out of the base to you. Those spear parries are always dicey. But better to parry too early and not get a perfect parry than parry too late and get hit. Stagger a brute with a moon stance heavy attack. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. Especially since it's just one. At least so long as there's at least one brute alive. And I actually managed to break his guard without killing him. You'd think I'd forgotten about the Heavenly Strike, which is especially effective against enemies who are guard broken. Offering plate. The Mongol people worship a diverse hierarchy of spirits. The highest among the pantheon are myriad gods known as Tengri. These spirits are typically only contacted by great shamans and leaders. Beneath this tier are three groups of ancestral spirits: Lord spirits, protector spirits, and guardian spirits, with lesser echelons beyond these. Ceremonial offerings to all the spirits were made at communal or private shrines and consisted of food, jaw sticks, and libations. The hell is a jaw stick? Dynamite barrels. I do love those. Took me a while to figure out how best to put them to use, but once I did, holy crap, did I love taking advantage of them. Thing is, when you set one off, everyone in the whole goddamn base hears it and comes running. No matter how bloody far away they are. And then the shithead climbed down from the tower. But there was one instance where I had set off a dynamite barrel and learned the hard way that everyone comes running, and everyone did, and I had 24 of these guys chasing after me. And then I saw another dynamite barrel, and as they were all chasing me down, I stopped, turned around, threw a sticky bomb at one of them as they were walking by one of those barrels, and I managed to blow up like 12 of them all at once. That's the kind of shit that gets on my fucking nerves. Especially when they hesitate like that and make you think that their attack combo's over, and then they keep going some more. Oh my god, use a sticky bomb. Please. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I must have been getting so pissed off. Oh yeah, I probably would have been screaming at this point. Oh. And then you got the fucking archers picking at you. Especially the blue ones with the triple shot. Oh, and then this shit. I wonder if their flash bombs would set off a dynamite barrel. God, I see that fucking barrel and I'm wondering when the hell do we get to the part in this playthrough where I start using sticky bombs. And we're done. Definitely got the bonus objective. Gave me enough brutes to do so. Because then after everyone's dead, I'll look around the base and it's like, oh, I could have shot that brazier to set some guys on fire. I could have detonated this barrel to wipe out an entire friggin' group of them, or at least set them on fire. I could have shot that beehive to set the hornets after them, you know. All the stuff you find in hindsight. But ultimately it winds up being a bit more complicated than just run in and mash buttons. I get that they try to add a bit more depth to the combat system with the different weapon stances and such, but sometimes I think that's just an extra bit of fluff that the combat doesn't need. Especially when you're going through the stances and you're unlocking the abilities that make them more effective against the particular enemies that they're supposed to be used against. Because then after that, it makes it seem like whatever stance you're in is less effective to everyone else. And this is just about the end here. Hopefully, next time we won't have any of these goddamn audio issues. And I will see you next time for more Ghost of Tsushima!
Der Mund bei Starfla. What is very